Well, hey, hello everyone. Good evening and welcome to Seriously Let's Play, the community building actual play where artists, creators, actors, and fans come together for the love of the hobby. I am John Thompson. I'm part of leadership here at Rook and Rasp, and this year we are coming back bigger and better than ever, meaning we're focusing on some fresh indie games. And yes, we're going to be doing our IGDN charity stream that last year raised over $1,000 for marginalized creators in the tabletop RPG space. Now, today, we're going to be switching things up a little bit. I'm definitely going to be introducing our GM today, but I definitely want to take a moment just to talk about this property. Uh, Capers and more importantly, Nerdburger Games. When we first started over 5 years ago, and we were running passionately productions under Southgate Media Group doing podcasting, one of the first guests that we ever had on was Craig. And when Craig came on the show, it wasn't even to talk about his games or to play any of his games. First time we did it was with a show called Tome Travelers, where we talked about a retrospective of RPGs in history. And he came on just to talk about other RPGs that he loved. And since then, every time that a new Capers product has come out, whatever show we're doing, Craig has come on as a guest. So over the past 5, 6 years, we've had everything from the original Capers to every edition, and we even participated in the Nerdburger anniversary party a few years ago. So right now, Capers Cyberpunk, which is what we're about to be playing, is in Kickstarter right this moment. So go take a look at it. Go check it out because Craig is an amazing member of the community for gaming, and the game itself is also amazing. But going around the table really quick, since I had this waxed poetically about that, let's go ahead and say hello to Kaylee. Kaylee is a streamer who is also editor and writer in gaming, and we are very happy to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining us. Uh, Sean has been on multiple streams here on the channel, as well as our podcast back when we had it, and is a Call of Cthulhu player with Lemonade Page and a few others. So, Sean, thank you so much for joining us for this show.
Thank you.
Coming over to us from the Nerdburger Discord and a GM for Nerdburger Games, we have Chris coming over to join us. So, Chris, thank you so much for joining us for your first time on the channel for this. And finally, we have Sharene. Now, Sharene is a writer and a co-creator for certain games, as it were, that you may or may not know out there in the gaming world, such as Secrets of the Vibrant Isle and the follow-up to that book. And joined us most recently for one of our episodes a game or two ago. So, Sharene, thank you so much for coming back and guiding us in this world. And so, this show from here on in is yours.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I really enjoy Capers. It's probably one of my favorite systems. I really like it for the really nice balance of mechanics and imagination. And it really is one of those games that's best played by, or best learned by playing. So you get somebody who knows how to play and you just try it out. So that's what we're going to be doing for some people today, but some people also already know what they're doing. So we're going to start with a little bit of background. Uh, First, let's start with the game mechanics really quickly. This game is played with a set of playing cards instead of dice. Each player and the GM all have their own full set, jokers included, of playing cards. Each card, the value of the card, and the suit and the color all have an effect on what you draw. And some of the numbers on your sheet tell you how many cards you get to draw per game, per challenge. So if you are, for example, trying to unlock a door, you may have, let's say, up to 3 cards that you can pull. So if you pull your first card, and maybe it's a 2, and you think, well, I don't think that's high enough, you can pull up to 3 cards. So there's a sort of gambling aspect every time go into a new challenge there. And so it's a little bit different than a lot of games like Dungeons and Dragons, where you sort of roll and then you pass or fail, and that's sort of it. You do have a little bit more leeway in Capers, which you'll see as we go on. The We also get something called Moxie. Moxie is a sort of inspirational bit of uh, boost that you can gain, and you get that by being in character, doing cool things, achieving something awesome. And you can use those to kind of affect the game in a variety of different ways. So, the world of Capers. It's a little bit different. It's kind of a sort of alternate reality Earth. Uh, and starting in the late 10s, early 20s, the some people began developing superpowers. The first noticeable one was a superpowered thief in 1912, and a reporter called it a daring caper in Omaha. The term caper just sort of stuck, and that's what people with superpowers began to be called. Through the roaring 20s, they were kind of a cross between they were celebrities and not always in a good way, but they started to get reined in into the 1930s and into the World War. When the Second World War happened, the veil between worlds thinned, more supernatural uh, elements sort of came into the world. And into the 50s, there was a bit more rebuilding and sort of more hope, trying to sort of pull everybody together. And at that point, Oracle, the Office for Reconnaissance, Apprehension, and Cataloging of Lethal Entities, became the entity in charge of monitoring and registering capers. At this point, they publicly exposed the existence of trembium. Trembium is a rare metallic element that can be found in minuscule properties in people with caper problems, but also out in the world. And in the 60s, trembium items were more of a movie sort of what's the word I'm trying to find here? Mega weapon kind of jokey thing. Nobody really thought they were real, but eventually it came out that it actually was a real thing and that trembium could be used to mimic superpowers. Into the 70s in this world, uh, the technological revolution occurred. Uh, so there was much more technology, far more advanced into the 70s. You could get personal computers, cell phones, laptops. The web started up into there. And in the 80s, the mega corporations started taking over, especially with the rise of smartphones. And during this time, uh, many private security firms owned by the mega corporations started taking over local law enforcement. As this went on, the mega corporations into the 90s, mega corporations really essentially gathered, had a stranglehold on everyone. So there's an extreme difference between the rich and poor. There's a lot of class disparity there. And virtual reality began into the 2000s. So beginning of the 2000s, you guys started getting virtual worlds, virtual reality, people getting into it. And at this point, even armies started becoming privatized. into the 2010s, Prem gear became available publicly. However, it is extraordinarily expensive. And so the only people who can afford it are either very rich or very good at the black market. There's all kinds of robotics, artificial intelligence that's actually intelligent, and cyberspace. Most in most places, capers are not well received. Many people are unsure of how to feel about capers because, of course, just like people, capers are on every side of the law and on every part of the sort of philosophical and moral spectrum. And so most people with capers powers do their best to keep it nice and quiet. Um, so that's the sort of general rule. Most information and uh, publicly available news or entertainment is all controlled and very, very strictly regulated by the mega corporations. However, there is a very robust underground movement, which is what your characters are a part. You have, from your wide variety of backgrounds, arrived in this place where you all sort of found each other as fellow hackers and fellow rebels against the system. You have all been harmed or excluded or oppressed in some manner by the mega corporations. And so you have sort of found yourselves on the fringes of society. Because everything is online, everything is cybernetic, everything is owned by the mega corporations. For example, most of those corporations don't deal in cash; they deal entirely in uh, controlled online interactions. But you need to have a bank account and a credit card and that sort of thing. And if you're an outlaw, you don't get that. And so it's very difficult for you to communicate, participate in society, which is, of course, not the purpose. So your crew, particular little group of people, you are familiar, you have a sort of hangout place. And this hangout place is home to a handful of other hackers and rebels that you all kind of know and that you're familiar with. You're a little crew, a little closer. So you have your reasons for that. Um, I hadn't decided on a specific city that you were a part of. Did anybody have any special preference to uh, where we run this? Do we want to be in the States? Do we want to be in Europe? Do we want to be in Australia? Do you have any preferences? Or can we just sort of be in generic big city free?
New York would probably be easiest since that's where Capers Cyber is predominantly set.
Yeah, I just wondered if we wanted to change up the theme, but we can just go to New York because that's nice and simple. And we can just run with that. That is awesome. We will do that. So you now does your crew have a name? Have you worked together long, or how close are you?
Well, I know I'm not the leader, so I would not be the one choosing a name for any of us. Kaylee, what was your powers specifically this time?
Oh, I'm hyper observant.
What about for you, Chris?
My character doesn't have powers of his own. He uses trim gear, and his trim gear allows him to cover himself in like a like an armor, and then he can also generate force fields.
Nice. That's. I don't know if I'd say we have a nickname yet or anything.
Yeah.
Right, we'll see if one can kind of, naturally come out as we go. So you guys, you hang out in your usual hangout. Your usual hangout is an old warehouse, and it was abandoned a long time ago, and these people, a long while ago, they sort of found this place and started setting it up. And there's all kinds of stuff to do. Obviously, there are computers and things for you guys to do your hacking. You have lots of, most of them are, just Frankenstein monsters just put together out of the bits and pieces you've collected and stolen and that sort of thing. You've also got someone's apparently started a collection of vintage video games and come on, brain. Pinball machines. So you've got some of those. There's a little skate park even in there. It's a big space. It's just a big open warehouse. And you're not going to start a fight here, buddy. Yes. He wants the spot where the other cat is sitting. I'm sorry. They chased the other cat out so he could sit there.
Just an extra player. We're fine. Get him a deck of cards.
So you guys hang out there. You guys know there's, that this is a sort of safe place for hackers. There's lots of people in and out of here all the time. Now, are you guys? What is all your experience with hacking? Do you have what's your sort of expertise in terms of fighting the mega corporations? What's your character's sort of general role in that fight?
I think for my character, who goes by the name Pseudo, she's very much, she's the secret getter. She is very good at noticing things, hyper observant, hyper vigilant. She actually used to be part of that world up until a few years ago during a fall from grace she wouldn't talk about, but she still dresses the part. Like when you see her, there's not a hair out of place, like raven black straight hair. She looks corp and takes great pride in keeping that appearance up.
I like it. You're among the crowd of secondhand clothes all in torn layers. You kind of stand out a little bit, but people think it's great. There's some among the rebellious crowd. There's definitely more liberty with clothing, so kind of anything goes, and people think your vibe is fun.
So for Haskins, doesn't really have. It's his hacker name, his real name. He doesn't really let anybody know. Other than some run-ins with Corp, he's mostly in it for the experience. The time, it's like fighting the corporation provides new experiences day in, day out, and makes himself useful. He's kind of a jack of all trades. He can get information from most things. Office plants like to gossip. It's really easy to get a password when that secretary mutters that password every time she types it into the system. He is, unfortunately, a bit of a gambler, a bit of a risk taker, and because of that, he's watched too many Frank Sinatra casino mob movies, so he tries to dress the style. He's always in a suit, he's got the fedora.
Nice.
And is extremely polite.
That's awesome. I love this.
I hate to say it, but kind of rounding out the group, and I think I'm starting to see a name forming for us. My character's Ellis, goes by Smiley. and likes to introduce people and kind of deals in an outside kind of discussion, outside communication, like uh, people meeting on the street uh, can be observed by cameras and drones and bugs and whatever else. Uh, or going online, you could be hacked, but they can't hack me. And I can have people talking to each other, using my powers as a way to bypass the corporations or government control or whatever else. And so yeah, I like to set up meetings and I like to dress nice, and I probably charge quite a bit. Definitely have a vice for money.
Okay. You're the coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And just
Like it.
likes to empower those that are against the system. Uh, but yeah, I think we're definitely seeing a direction here so far.
Yeah, you guys are all very well dressed.
And then there's the combo breaker. Gideon, who goes by Blue Guardian, is probably the youngest of the group. He's only joined recently. He was basically a street kid that just sort of showed up one day. But he's very good at fixing things and repairing things. Anytime something's broken, anytime something on the fritz, without even, asking someone if it's okay, he'll just go fix it. He's always tinkering with things, always, and if something's broken, he'll try to go out of his way to like teach other people about it and tell them how it works and how to fix it so they'll know how to do it next time. He says he's an orphan. Whether or not that is true, you don't really know. He is also very idealistic, and once he gets sort of worked up, it's very hard to bring him back down and very hard to hold him back.
Okay.
He's got his trim gear they kind of look like just like big, almost like an oversized watch or like part of a gauntlet. He's got one on each of his wrists. And one of them, when he taps it, this like blue and silver metallic mesh sort of covers his skin and makes him kind of look like a Power Ranger or like Ultraman or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And when he touches the other gauntlet, he is able to create force fields.
That's awesome.
That follow him.
For some reason, when you said that he told people he was an orphan, I imagined him dressing like a newsboy, with the cap and the suspenders and the.
That stuff's actually pretty hard to come across these days. He's more of just like a jeans and a t-shirt kind of kid. Everything he wears, like I said, directly opposite of everybody else. He's wearing like secondhand t-shirt, worn jeans with a hole in the knee, and like dirty, cheap shoes. But he has a very nice high-end cell phone. It's probably the nicest thing he owns. And he has just a backpack full of different junk in it. Like, he's got tools, he's got a first aid kit, he's got like all this different stuff in this backpack that he carries with him everywhere.
That's all.
And at the hideout, he's probably fixing something, or he's working on something that was broken that he found in an alleyway or a dumpster that he is trying to get working again.
So, like, he's kind of responsible for some of the hybrid computers. I imagine most people see of him as, like, his sort of lower body sticking out from underneath the desk where he's,
yes, absolutely.
Under there. Yeah. So, all right. Well, you guys are hanging out, doing your usual thing. Regular day. And, Guy comes in. You've seen this guy before. He hangs around the place. He's a regular at your little hangout. And he's got holding something in his hand, and he's coming in, and he's looking a little nervous.
You know what this guy's name is?
Yes, his name is Joey Bradford. And you know his hacker name as HoloVid. So he
Everything okay, Hollow?
oh, I'm so glad you're here. And he runs over to you and hands you a USB stick. And he's like, I found something really weird. And I can't crack it, and I don't know what to do.
I mean, what's weird about it?
Well, you know how, like, I'm trying to get better at hacking? And you know, that situation last week when I got in trouble and you guys had to help me out?
Yes,
Well, practicing again, and I got in. I have been trying to hack Ellington Mineral for like a couple weeks now. It's a big one. And because, like, I saw this article in the Anarchist News about how they've been lying about meeting their, you know, standards and everything. So I'm like, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can do this. And I get in. And then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna grab, you know, random. I just wanted proof. I wanted proof. So I grabbed some junk. You know, I'm like, whatever, it's junk. They won't notice. And I run. Get out of there. I'm worried. I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Joey, did you
And,
cover your tracks?
yeah, of course I did. Obviously, not a problem. It's fine. That's all fine. It's just, it was just supposed to be garbage, you know? It was just supposed to be garbage, but it's like encrypted, and I can't crack it.
Kid, you really got to start aiming a little lower. You don't have the experience to be going after the big boys like that.
And I totally do. I did it. I got in. What's the problem? I got in. So what?
You know without an encryption key, this data is useless, right?
I can do it. Maybe try. Fine. Maybe it's not good. I don't know what it is.
Or we could plug this into the system, and it's going to have some tracer program that's going to alert Ellis Minerals and bring them right down on us.
Well, you guys are. You have disconnected computers? Come on.
I do have a laptop I've been working on where all the network port and the Wi-Fi card are toast on it, but it still boots. So, I mean, I guess we could maybe use that.
Kid, if they followed you, I'm not going to be very happy. And I stand up and I'm going to go walk to the door and just look up and down the street.
At the moment, you know, nothing seems particularly out of place.
Hello, you did do this magnificent deed from a public place, didn't you?
Obviously, yeah.
Okay, it's not obvious because we don't know the answer. Where did you do it from?
Grand Central Station.
Okay. Well, they certainly have Hollow on camera if they were able to backtrace.
No, I wore my face thing, the screen thing, and he pulls out. It's a sort of mesh. It looks like you know those things that when you get like a pear and it's wrapped in that sort of mesh fishnetty looking stuff. It's like that, but really dense. And you pull it over your face, and a sort of series of waves and lights will pass over your face, and it messes with facial recognition software. These are not uncommon, and among this group of people we share. They have a tendency to share items like this. So.
Yeah, that's a great, kid, and that's a smart thing to use, but did you mask your biometrics?
I think so.
Oh, I don't like that.
No.
Pretty sure. I usually do.
Did you alter your gait?
Yeah? Look,
Okay.
here. And he pulls out his laptop and gives it to you. And he's like, you can see what I did.
Take a look.
Alright, so he boots it up and he sets you down and he, sort of projects the monitor and everything. And as you're going through it, you are looking through it now. I think I'm gonna get somebody to do one of the first checks of the day. The whole game. Do a check. So, I would like somebody to use their expertise or perception.
An expertise score of 3.
Right. So
Does anybody have
everybody.
a higher perception?
I've got
well,
a perception 4.
Yeah, that's super perception.
Kind of what I do.
Kind of your thing. All right. So
Can
why don't
we
you?
both? Can we both
Yeah.
try?
Sure you can.
Okay.
We'll see what you guys figure out.
Okay, so I am a noob to this system. Does that mean I can draw up to 4 cards
Yes.
for my result and
So what you're
stop
gonna
when I
do-
feel like I've succeeded?
Yes. So you pull one card, and I forgot to put your names on the. I was telling myself. I forgot to put your names here. Let me fix that. And then you can just sort of pull your cards over onto the little space on the table there, and we can see what they are. So Haskins, I'll turn them over a second. Whoops. I was giving you a different name there. Pseudo and monthly.
So for those of you who are not familiar with the digital setup in Roll20, what you'll do is click on the card in your deck, and then just drag it and drop it over on the table. Like, my first card was an 8. I'm going to try again.
Yeah, mine was a 4. We want high, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yes.
Higher the better. Also, the suit of the card matters. Spades is the best. If you succeed with a spade, you get a boost.
Yeah.
If you fail with a spade, you get motivation, which means you get a moxie on your an extra moxie on your next check.
Okay, so spade is the best. Is there a suit that's the worst?
Clubs.
Clubs.
Yeah, and diamonds and hearts are just neutral.
Alright. I'm pulling my 4th. Oof. Yeah, I'm distracted. So
You're very distracted. Well, what you can do now, everybody starts with 3 moxie. One of the things you can do, one of the many things you can see, so we can talk about this. One of the many things you can do with moxie is spend 1 to go back to a card in this pile that you think is the best. Now, if you general average difficulty of something is about an 8. So
You can also spend a moxie to draw another card.
Or you could spend a moxie.
I'm gonna be fine with failing at this point. I'm gonna say that that Pseudo is like what her attention is torn between what's going on the screen, and we've got Smiley who went to go check out the streets. There's some worry.
Okay.
I got a queen of spades.
Wait. So, because you get a success, that's a success with a boon. So, you were using expertise?
Expertise and electronics, I think, is what you would use for this
Yes,
kind of check. Or sciences, I have both.
that's your skill. So as you're looking through this code, now Pseudo was looking more at the sort of the text content of the files, but you were looking at more of the sort of code end of it, and you notice something really, really unusual. You notice a code that isn't quite right. It's a code that worked but shouldn't have. It's completely out of place. The code seems to, you don't really seem to understand what the code does, but it's very, very out of place. It shouldn't be there. In what Joey has done. Now, this is you looking through Joey's sort of history of when he was hacking. And so this very odd bit of code came from the Ellington Mineral server.
Is it possible that this weird bit of code might be the decryption key needed for the flash drive?
You're not entirely sure. It could help.
Okay.
It might help.
I will try and I'll plug in the flash drive into the laptop, not Joey's laptop, but the laptop that has no network communication. And
Okay.
I'll try inserting that line of code into it to see if it decrypts
Okay.
the data.
Yeah. Part of it, after a couple of tries, you realize that part of that code works.
Okay.
But there's still another element to it that remains mysterious to you.
Okay.
But you do manage to open this file that Joey has that has shown up with.
Am I able to get anything out of the partially decrypted code?
So the thing that you sorry, the which?
You said I was able to kind of like decrypt part of the data, but not all of the data.
Oh no, you only needed part of the code for the encryption.
Okay.
So there's this sort of other section of the code that you don't,
Okay.
that doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't be there. It doesn't, you don't know what it means. You don't know what it does.
Okay.
But the encrypted data that you unveil, that Joey seems to have stolen, is part of a program. Now, you're going to have to fiddle with this program a little bit and see what it does. So would you or someone else like to give it a shot?
What kind of check is that going to be?
Another expertise.
Okay, I'll take a shot at it. Let's see how I do. That's not great. That's 3 of clubs. 5 of clubs. Also not great. 7 of spades. Still not great.
Not quite.
Ooh, interesting. Jack of clubs.
Ooh.
That's
Okay.
a success with a complication.
Nice. All right.
You know what? Because it makes a more interesting story, I'm going to go with the Jack of clubs. Because I'm curious to see what complication I get.
Okay. Well, the program that you've discovered on this app, or on now you realize this isn't the whole program.
Right.
What Joey seems to have done is, and you know, obviously he didn't admit this, but looking through his work, you realize that what he had done was hacked in, realized he'd gotten in, grabbed the first like recycle bin kind of files he could find, downloaded them, and then ran away, logged off as fast as he possibly could. Because he was basically like, holy shit, I got in, right? Now, it seems to be that because he only grabbed a couple of files, he didn't grab the whole thing. This seems to be a program that moves money between accounts, but a part of it makes it look as if it makes an internal transaction appear as if it is an external one.
So it's a worm.
It is. But it's not the whole thing. You just seem to be able to sort of, there's enough of the code that you can kind of put it together. And another file that you find is a pretty simple text file. So, Joey is very excited to see this once you open it. He opens the text file, puts it up on the big screen for everybody to see. This file has a long list of names. And as you're looking at them, you realize that they are people's legal names and a hacker name.
Is there anybody we notice?
Well, you have to give me a perception.
I would love to do that.
Alrighty.
I've got a lot of low cards already on the table.
Exactly. Hopefully you can. Oh, well, there you go.
I'm just going to stop with that Queen of Diamonds right there.
Immediately, you're like, wait a minute. That's my buddy. That's Phantom Freak, who 2 weeks ago disappeared off the face of the earth. You haven't heard from him.
Wait, that's Phantom Freak. 2 weeks ago, I got a random message from them. It just said, I left that thing in that place that time. I haven't heard from them since, and I don't know what that means.
I think that means you got ghosted.
I do not get ghosted, and we did not have that kind of relationship. I pay for those. He is just a friend.
I mean, hackers disappear all the time. I mean, you do a hack, you lay low. I mean, that's what
Yes, but when they called, they were in a bit of a tizzy. So there was obviously some sort of emotional upset. Said that someone was onto them, and they left that thing in that place that we were at one time.
And did you go and check this place that they?
Says, yes, and I went and looked, and if for the record, it's a bathroom at Grand Central Station, and there was nothing there. I did get some very weird looks from the gentleman there, though. And a couple phone numbers.
For a good time. So you realize that there's a few other names on there that are people that you've seen around. But the surprising part, when you get down to the bottom of the list, there's your names.
Oh, that's not good.
That's vaguely concerning.
Wait, have we done anything against Elias Mineral before?
The other thing that pops into your mind when you're remembering your buddy Phantom Freak, he was also a caper. But he never told anybody. He was very, very secretive.
I mean, the names that I can see on there, the fact that we are all on there, is Blue Falcons on there too? Or Blue Guardian, sorry. Blue Falcon.
Yeah.
Wrong story.
But he has, as you know, he has Prem gear. He has access to power. So you suspect. Well,
This
unrelated.
list is
So,
full of people that are enhanced in some way.
so it's less about people that have stolen from them and more a list of power,
Yes,
like a registry.
one I am not fond of being on.
This is
No.
bull. They can't do this.
They can't.
Well,
Well,
they
I mean,
shouldn't.
They are, but they shouldn't. You're exactly right.
If we ran up a list of all the things the corp shouldn't be doing, we'd be here till the end of time.
Mm-hmm.
Sharene, is Emmanuel Goldstein's name on this list?
As your real name, you mean?
No. Emmanuel Goldstein would above table technically be my dad.
Oh, in your background.
Yes.
Okay, give me 2 seconds.
Oh, so the secret of the, when you said orphan with the air quotes.
Where is it? Where's that bit? Where'd you put it? Oh, I thought you're okay. Sorry. Can you message me there with that, and we'll give that in a second. So while this is happening, Joey is like, I can't. This is too much. I can't take this, and he decides that's it. He's gonna leave. So he packs his stuff and he's off, and he's just like, you guys can deal with this.
Hey, kid, bit of advice. Smaller. We appreciate the news, and we're gonna do something about it. But next time, lower your sights. You work your way up to the big leagues.
Like your neighborhood stab and rob.
You're right.
ATMs.
Okay, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna hack an ATM. Thank you.
Don't do it from home, you nitwit.
Sorry.
We need to find a new hangout now. He's been
Yeah,
tracked here
this
by
place
for
is
certain.
burned.
I mean,
I just
you
got
gotta-
the
you gotta
office up
mentor
top
them. I mean,
cleaned.
they are the next generation.
Yes, we're doomed.
Well,
Yes.
Like literally, or as in that generation is dooming us all.
Yes.
Okay, I can't argue with that.
I mean, if you look at him, no sense of taste or style or how to dress, and hyperactively insane. Going after a mineral company like that?
Well,
That's an A-level corp.
yeah. I mean, actually impressed that he got in though. And
A broken
what did he
clock is
find?
right
It was
twice a day anyway.
It was a worm that he found, a partial worm that's extorting money.
And why are we in this garbage file?
Well, he opened it, so I'm glad
We
he
need
did.
to go find out.
We would have known.
I have two
Hopefully
thoughts.
there's nothing...
but-
Go ahead.
Well, obviously, if it's in the garbage file, they either didn't want people finding it or they wanted somebody else finding it. And that means that you have two different groups. You have the group that did this and the group that it's supposed to go to.
So
That's my
Possibly
expectation.
a third group.
two groups. Just
That's
off
us,
that
or
is
the third group.
potentially.
No. Okay, possibly a fourth group then.
There we go.
Who was watching and probably saw him do this. On his trail now. They could be one of the first two groups, but we can't assume. A corp like that's going to have a security team. They're going to notice the footprints.
And that's why I say we start walking now.
Burn the place.
We gotta hack them.
Not from here, we don't.
Well, obviously not from here. That's a rookie move. But we need to go find a secure location, and then we should try to, after servers, get some more information. I mean, I'm not saying we should go do it like right this second, but like we should do
Let's-
some recon on them.
We
Get some
distance ourselves
information.
from Joey, find a new place to lie low, and then we begin work.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So where are you guys gonna head? Where you think you're going? What's your plan for a new hangout?
I mean, the Starbucks has got free Wi-Fi.
Really?
So guys, I have like $10 to my name right now. I don't have a lot of money to spend on anything, so I mean, I'll be more than happy to contribute my $10, but we're gonna need to we're gonna find some place. It's gonna have to be like, unless one of you has more money, someplace that's like free or close to free,
I
free-ish.
think. Well, and are we out on the street now walking?
I think that
Yeah,
makes
there's
sense.
a
Yeah.
car.
Okay,
Uh,
well, this is you guys were hanging out in an old warehouse. You're kind of in that warehouse type area of town at this point.
all right. I say we start a little bit of fishing first, and looking for people walking around, leaving other clubs or other things. And I'll yell out at them, "Hey, we're trying to. We're looking for a party. Do y'all know of a good party to go to right now? Somebody's got to be holding one.
Oh, okay. You're gonna start asking around for like a little
Yeah,
underground
house party. House party.
House party. That's awesome. Okay. Can you give me? Do you have any kind of charisma-based skills or?
Just a high charisma, I think. Let me get my sheet back up here. Diplomacy and deception.
Oh, there you go. Diplomacy is great. Okay. So yeah, give me some charisma. So that
Alright.
skill will give you a card.
Yep. All right. Ooh,
All right, that's good.
Queen of
I mean,
Clubs.
that's a success
Nice.
with a complication, but it's still a success.
Let's go with it. I like complications.
All right. So you meet a gaggle of people going to a party. You see them all done up. You know, they're wearing ridiculous heels and lots of flashy clothes. You know, of course, then there's a lot of like LED color changing clothes. They have like color changing hair. They're really, fun. And as you come up and you're like, you ask a couple of people, but eventually you see these people and you ask them, and you're like, hey, do you guys know about a party? And they're like, oh my god, yes! We're going to the best party. And they grab you guys and drag you along. And they have apparently attached themselves to your group now. And they're all commenting, like, you guys are dressed so cute. Like, I love this vintage look. And they're going on about that. They're pulling you around and they're dragging you into this club. And there's this sort of underground club. It looks like it's just sort of, your generic abandoned, open, empty warehouse. But the DJs have brought all their own equipment in. And and they've set up, all their own lights and that sort of thing. So it's not the best lighting situation, but it's still good. It's still fun. You can tell this is an underground party. And so they drag you in, and they're getting drinks, and they're offering you drugs, and they're all over you. This little gaggle of partygoers. You're going to have to kind of
Extract ourselves.
extricate yourselves from the party. But it's a decent party. It's going. It's loud music, so you can definitely have a private conversation in this area if you can get away from them.
Hey, really quick, Askins.
Yeah.
Let's start scanning around. See if you see the router, and then ask it what its password is.
You know that it doesn't quite work that way, right?
Well, maybe not for you.
Wait, you could do that?
Have you have you never tried that before?
No, I mean, it's usually more natural objects, less moving parts. I mean, I can try it. I mean, you gotta get away from this.
Upstairs
Gideon
is
has been
always
like
good.
his face has been flush ever since the gaggle of partygoers has come over because he's never been around people this pretty before. So he's just like his face has just been flush like the entire time.
And they think you're like somebody's little brother, and
Yeah.
they're kind of treating you like, you know, you're the cute little brother. You know,
Right.
A lot of getting your hair ruffled
Yes.
and that sort of thing.
I think Pseudo has attached herself to two of the more attractive ones, and is egging that on, trying to get that relationship settled, so they maybe leave him alone after he gets boring. But she's working on trying to get them to see if there's a private place that the three of them can go hang out.
Oh. Gonna do a little seduction, are we?
Someone's not paying, right?
Yeah, you can give me some charisma, and if you have anything you think would boost that, just let me know. But
Humanities? I know what makes people tick.
Yeah, that works. That is like, you know, sort of social interaction.
Woof. That 3 of hearts is not friendly. I'm gonna go for my second card, please. I'll take that 10 of clubs, though.
That's
Probably
good.
a success with a complication, right?
Yeah, success with a complication. So the couple of lovely people that you've attached yourself to, of your character's preferred gender, will let you know that
that is yes. The answer is yes.
Oh, yeah, I have a character like that, yeah. Sexuality is yes. They will take you to a private room. They do know of a private room.
I'll send a like a text to the rest of the group after an appropriate amount of time, just letting them know that they should come up.
Okay. So they take you through. They kind of go into the back where there's a bunch of the other DJs are kind of hanging out, and they seem to know some of the DJs. You know, so they're kind of waving at them. There's a couple small rooms off of this. It seems like at one point there was a sort of meeting room and a couple of offices. At one point, so they're getting a couple of offices.
I think things get really pixelated for a while, but we can go back to the rest of the group.
Okay. So then we have the camera panning to the fireplace, and then the rest of the group in the club.
I have to ask, was that a top secret reference?
Oh, I used to do a lot of text role play, and that was our you know, when things got to that point, the camera panned the fireplace. And
I pictured it immediately, so especially when it's floating through the air with a parachute. Anyway, I'm off camera now.
Guys, do you want any drugs? Because these people here are offering us a lot of drugs.
No, don't. No,
Should we just take the drugs and like pocket them for now, and then we can sell them later?
Actually, it might come in useful later if we need them. So yeah, pocket them for sure.
Yeah. So Sharene, anytime someone offers me drugs, I'm just like, yeah, man, I'm gonna, and then I just kind of just slip it into my pocket. I'm just like, I will
pretend to take it, and then like, okay.
Wow, I'm so high right now. Because my character's never been high before. Yeah, I'm so high right now, man. This feels great.
My hands are huge.
I can hear the colors. Ooh.
I can taste the sounds.
I can taste the sound.
What did you give that guy? I don't know. It's just supposed to make him really horny.
Yeah,
are you a doctor? Oh no.
As we're walking around, I'm going to look for some kind of router, like Smiley suggested, to see if I can get a password off of it so we can get into your system.
Okay.
No, I'm joking, right?
I'm going to try it. Let's try it.
Well, because this is, you know, let's say a warehouse that's not particularly in use at the moment, and that everybody's sort of snuck in to just sort of use as a dance floor. You know, it doesn't really have an active router, but there is a neighborhood router, because the megacorps do put out some public. There's like public Wi-Fi, sort of thing, and yes, so that's something you might be able to get into. That's something you may be able to. I mean, obviously you can get on the free, public Wi-Fi, but also that there's probably like an admin login that you can do.
I mean, if it's close by and I can talk to it nonchalantly without anybody kind of spotting me, yeah, I'll give it a try.
Also, the 5 most commonly used passwords are love, sex, secret, and God. Not necessarily in that order.
Sometimes all
1, 2,
together.
3, 4.
You forgot password.
And password.
Oh, password and password 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
Now you got 6 of them. What are you gonna do? You gotta cut one.
I mean, it's a brute force attack. You're just going to use all of them.
I prefer rainbow, but anyway, I'm not here.
I'm just gonna ask it for it.
All right, so you're gonna go out. He's using, I think I have to say it's probably my favorite power in all of Capers, which is speak with objects. And it's so much fun as a player because, you can ask all kinds of questions to things, but as the GM, it's really challenging. It's a really fun challenge trying to come up with like different voices, but also different like attitudes and concepts, and like what would this object in particular notice about its environment, like what would matter to it, and that kind of thing. It really sort of changes your perspective on how you think of things. So that's why it's one of my favorite powers, but also just because of how clever players are using it. It's everybody comes up with stuff that half the time I come up with stuff that I never would have thought to do. So I love it. So you kind of wander out back. Maybe there's some people smoking out back. You just kind of wander out there. You look around until you find you see the router, up on a pole somewhere. And
feel kind of push out my power towards it and be like, sorry, excuse me, I know you're super busy, your job's super important, but I was just wondering if you could let me know what the password is, because my computer's down and it was saved on there, but I can't remember it. So if you could just help me out, it would be so great.
Awesome. So you were going to use, we're going to do you can use charisma or expertise, because you're both having a conversation and using a sort of complicated device. Mm-hmm. So either one of those will work, whatever you prefer.
They're both the same, so either one. I will go with charisma.
Okay. Now, you're using your boosts in order to speak with a more complex object?
Yes.
Alright, so what that means when you're using a boost, mechanically, is that you have one less card to draw. So it's sort of, the boost allows you to do more and do more interesting, complicated things, but it takes more of your concentration. So your sort of standard power is that's just on all the time. You can just do that, no big deal. But if you want to do something a little more advanced, you kind of have to give it a little oomph,
Okay.
So the one less card just sort of represents the fact that it's just taking up a little bit of concentration.
And if I flip over a low card, can I still use a Moxie to flip over another one while doing this? Okay.
Yes.
Green, could I try to do something to give him advantage on this check?
Well, he's kind of wandered off.
Oh, okay.
You were pretending to be stoned.
Okay.
He's gone outside to do this, so...
Okay.
6 of diamonds. I'm going to spend a Moxie.
Okay.
Flip over another
Try
one.
again.
Oh, 2 diamonds.
Oh, no! Alright. Do you want to stick with that?
But I'll spend one more Moxie.
Okay, we'll try one more time.
Try one more time. 10 of
Oh,
hearts.
sweet. That's great. So the router, you get the impression it's very difficult to convey, but you get the impression, you know, when someone really snobby looks at you and they kind of look you up and down, like they're judging you. You kind of get the feeling that this router is doing this to you, that it's kind of looking you up and down, and then it's like, well, you were very polite to me, so here it is. And it tells you the password.
Oh, you know what? You have been the biggest help. You are a lifesaver. I hope you have a good evening, and I hope your power is uninterrupted.
Well, thanks. It seems more appreciative of your compliments than it lets on. It's a very proud router.
I'll see if I can spot Smiley and Blue Guardian and be like,
All right.
I got the password. So as soon as we find Pseudo, maybe we can get this ball rolling.
All right. So, Pseudo. So have all of you now? I believe. So what was Smiley doing most of this time?
Most of the time, I've just been wandering around, taking it all in. Probably, I look over, Haskins' way, and I'm like, hey, that actually worked. I was just trying to riff on you. I'm actually impressed.
No, you know what? I'm gonna have to do that more often. I mean, it was a little snobby, but you know what? If you give something respect, they cooperate with you.
Well, either way, we're here. I figure this is a fairly public place, and when the cops raid it, we got a couple hundred other people that they're going to be having to deal with first.
I mean, as soon as Pseudo wraps up their business, we'll be good to go.
Well, good to go, but I mean, we got to kind of have a plan, and at the same time, I mean, we could just do whatever y'all need to hack here.
No, yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, I don't want us to be separated when we start that in case we get raided. I want everybody together.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgot to ask. When you were using your powers, when you activate your powers, there is some kind of outward sign. You can't use a Capers power without it sort of somehow being obvious. So, no, you didn't use the talking out loud power, so that, the out loud portion was just sort of your half of the conversation. You heard in your head the responses. But what sort of visually happens to your character when you activate this power and you're speaking to them?
I hadn't thought about that. I think in this case, my eyes go silver, like mercury silver.
Ooh, I like it. It's kind of ripples.
Yeah.
The eyes. Ooh, that's neat. I like that. So yeah, that's what you saw when he did this, and had this one-sided conversation from an outside perspective. That's what happened. All right, so Pseudo is sending out the message for everybody.
Yeah, I think it's been like 45 minutes to an hour. That's fine.
Okay, so you sent out the message, and your companions have enjoyed themselves and wandered off to go back to the party. But you're kind of gathering everyone.
Because now I have a room.
Okay.
Hey, you gotta indulge in your vice.
Yep, you do. So you actually are going to get a moxie for indulging your vice.
Okay. How do I add that in roll 20?
Oh, I will do it. Go to Pseudo. And Haskins is also going to get a moxie for being good at using his power. So, all right. So you are going to meet up You guys all gather together. You're now in the room. I need to step away from the computer real quick. I will be right back, but I can still hear you. So just continue to talk in character play.
Okay, so
Did we find out anything useful?
Got the password to the local router, so we can do the hack fairly secure. It won't be on the public Wi-Fi.
Good work.
Well, things are just chatty. Doesn't matter if they're animate or not. They just want to talk.
Oh, believe me, I know.
okay, so what's
What's wrong with Guardian?
I think I've got like $3 to $4 grand in drugs. Would one of you guys want to carry some of this? I feel really nervous having this much
Oh no,
on me.
I don't
Break
ever
the
carry.
law on a consistent basis.
I don't ever
Just-
carry anything on me.
Everybody just was like, hey, you want to try this? Hey, you want a hit of this? And I was just like, sure. And then I just put it in my pocket. And now I've got a lot of drugs on me. And I didn't really mean to.
Don't worry.
And I'm not really sure what I should do with it.
We're gonna hold on to it. It's always good for a bribe.
Oh, okay.
So, but I will take half of it.
Bribe.
It makes you feel better.
Yes, it would make me feel much better.
All right. I'm just gonna write down on my inventory half of the drugs.
Just drugs. I'll have to ask Sharene what kind of, because Capers actually does have, the game system does have drugs.
Oh, cool.
And different drugs are worth different amounts and have different effects.
Pseudo's kind of like holding up. It's a Scoochie handbag because you can't get Gucci without registering with a corp, and I also don't want us to get sued. Sorry, Twitch. But opens it up and there's like a computer and like various things, but it's just barely big enough for the computer. It's like I don't have room for any sort of things like that. Thank you though.
Just put it in my pocket. So they're not. It's not like it's a big. It's not like he's got a kilo.
Yes, I know, but they would cause unsightly lines.
So,
Tuck
what
some
is
in your fedora and see how you feel about it.
what's the plan?
See?
at this
Exactly.
point?
You guys have pants and pockets, right? You can just shove them in your pockets. It's not like they're huge.
Silly boy. Women's clothing does not have pockets.
I know for a fact that there are some out there that do. It's just
Not
you
the
like
stylish
wearing-
ones.
And that's the point. Yes, you need to go with something a little bit more functional and less stylish.
Hardly.
I'm too close to the pocket.
This
So-
face does not dress like I have pockets.
Sharene, what drugs did I get?
Let's see.
There's several different kinds. There's
What page?
adrenaline, depressants, hallucinogens, power enhancing, and stimulants.
So, mostly you're gonna go with stimulants, hallucinogens, and anything that makes music sound or look better. You're at a party, these are party drugs. Party drugs give you energy, they make music sound good, and they give you fun visuals. Also make you horny.
So probably adrenaline, hallucinogens, and stimulants.
Yeah, and combinations of those as well.
So yeah, my character was like, yeah, guys, I've probably got like $3
Sure.
grand in drugs right now. That's actually probably pretty accurate.
Yeah,
'Cause
but I mean, these are all like, these are drugs. They're also street drugs. So this is all, made in somebody's basement, out of whatever it is they, This is not a. These are not
designer
like,
drugs.
Yeah, this is not high-end stuff. Yeah.
No, you're not getting these from pharmaceuticals. These are the yeah. So
These have unintended
you'll get money
consequences.
for it for sure, but not like huge amounts of money. No. Decent money, yes. So, all right. So you have all gathered. You have a room, and you have admin access to the local router, meaning that you know that you can do more. If you activate, your sort of encoding and make an effort to encode your data, you'll be able to do it better than you would be able to on the public, because of course the public Wi-Fi exists for the purposes of stealing your data and getting onto your computer or onto your smartphone and infecting it with all sorts of spyware. So obviously you can get on this without it. So you're setting up your systems. What are you going to look for? So what is it that you're sort of thinking you're going to... Because right now, what is it that you know? What is it that what do you sort of know?
Well, we have Joey's laptop, so we can find out what route he took. There'll be footsteps on his data showing how he got in. We should be able to use that unless they found it, we could probably use that as an entry point.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I think the four of us combined are experienced enough that we don't need to backtrack Joey's. I'm pretty sure that we have hacked the Class A corporations before, because I don't know that I necessarily want to go in the same way he did.
It's a starting point, though. Also, if we send somebody in that way, it would draw attention.
So
If we spoof that coming from somewhere else, and then the rest of the group can go in, and if it's unnoticed, we get in really easily.
But you also remember your buddy Phantom Freak disappearing. Maybe you want to just do a general lookup, see if you could find him, because you know his real name. It's on the list.
Yeah.
Maybe look that guy up. You can look up other
maybe-
people on the list. You could look up anything on the list.
Could we try and, I don't know, maybe you could walk around, maybe one of the more attractive ones, could walk around with a vase of flowers, making it look like you were going to deliver it to your significant other while looking over people's shoulders and memorizing their passwords. That's a thought. That's a thing that we could try and do. Or
Whose passwords do you want?
IT, ideally. If we could get someone from their IT department, that would give us the keys to the castle, right?
Where? You want it specifically from people there that work for this company?
It means we need to go on site.
Or one of their contractors.
Find me the contractor, at least, find me a physical location, I can get you their information.
Or instead of, maybe it's a great starting point. I don't want to start an argument, but if we can get a directory of employees, find out who their lead admin is, maybe we can find out where he hangs out locally, and we can get it a little more subtly. The password, like we could just be in the same room with him and maybe, pull it out of his mind. Or
Are there any cameras here?
No.
Are there any cameras?
Any cameras? Like, I mean, they're built into the system, but this is wasn't abandoned, so they're not active. They're not.
What about on the street?
Oh yes. In this neighborhood, there are fewer because it's a functioning, working sort of neighborhood with warehouses and like storage and cargo and that sort of thing. So there's not really a lot of people wandering the streets most of the time. So there are a couple of cameras in this area, but nowhere near like how many there are at the mall.
Right. We could try running facial recognition on the people from the street cameras to see if anyone, maybe we can cross-reference that with an employee directory.
Sharene, while everybody's kind of throwing ideas around, Pseudo pulls out her laptop and checks the Capers equivalent of LinkedIn.
Okay.
We're going to call it Hooked Up. Why not? And looks up the corp and sees who all works there. And do a search, kind of narrowing it down by IT, and then the idea is take that name list and then cross-reference it with the social media site like Finstagram and Bookface.
Okay. So why don't you give me some expertise? Pull some cards there, do some expertise thing.
Oh yeah, don't forget to check Flitter.
You mean P?
Oh yeah, because it's one letter now.
God, all right, I'm gonna push that because I don't like the 8. I will, however, love that King of Hearts.
Damn. Yeah. So this information, like, it takes you like no time. It's like it's jumping out at you. It's like in a movie where 2 clicks and the exact information you need pops up. There's a guy named what do I call it? Gene Hackford is the head of the IT department there. And what socials he has are all very, they're very corporate. They're everything that is publicly posted and available and easy to see is just, it's a guy, he's got a kind of longish hair, dark hair, he's got a, sort of beard and goatee, generic, sort of suit, very clean looking, very expensive suits, and it's just, his social media was just him being rich, sitting in fancy cars and sitting in, fancy restaurants and, showing off his latest high-end he does admit in one of the posts that he did skateboard in his youth. That's about the single most interesting thing you can find out about the man. Otherwise, he is just the single most, like, his social media is just generic corporate man. There's nothing about him.
Yeah, so looking at his social media posts, where does he go most often to eat, and is there a pattern?
It's just kind of whatever's the trendiest, new restaurant at the time among the wealthy.
Okay. I don't know if this is something in Capers, but could I spend a Moxie point to affect the story?
Yes, you can. That is one of the things you can do.
Nice. I'm going to spend a point of Moxie, which I believe I do by dragging over here.
Yep.
And I'm going to say that there is actually like the grand opening of a new Michelin 3-star restaurant tonight. And they open in like 9 o'clock or the following night. Let's do the following night because it's late already. The following night. Yeah. And there's been a waiting list for almost a year at this point, and I just happened to be going anyway, so.
Oh, well, alrighty then. Yeah, and you see that he's, you're pretty sure he's going to be there because he's always at these things.
Yeah.
So
I'll throw that data like up on like a display so they can see, picture of him, various data, everything like that. Head of IT security. This is on Mock, and I know where he'll be tomorrow night.
Good lord, can anyone be that vanilla?
Guys like that are a plague.
Yes, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, he is very clean, at least.
No sense of humor.
Doesn't need one. All we need to do is get in the same place he is, and then one of you could perhaps acquire some information from his devices. Like passwords.
Well, I mean, we gotta get it from him. He's gonna be a little suspicious if I just start talking to his pocket.
Do you literally have to talk out loud?
How talking works, they don't have ears.
They don't have mouths either, but they still somehow speak to you.
I don't make the rules, it's just how my power works.
What is your question on this? What?
I could create a distraction.
I can just steal it from his brain.
That also works.
That's a thing you can do?
Yeah.
Is that just... I forget, is that line of sight, or do you need to be in physical proximity?
Kind of need to be nearby.
Which is fine. We just get a table near his. We can hack the reservation.
I mean, you need to dress up.
If we all just look at...
Yeah, that's gonna be... Well, I do have a lot of... Does anyone have experience selling drugs?
No, people
That's
just
the
give
only
me
way
them.
I'm gonna get money. I don't have any money. I have $10. I have $10.
I think we can
all
pull
I
an
have.
outfit together for you.
Okay.
My dear boy, I think I'm going to take you shopping.
Sweet.
To the shopping montage.
And
Okay.
Gideon, don't worry, I've never done that to you.
I think there's a
believe
quick
you.
flash of a shopping montage, and he comes back dressed in like these, like matte silver, like not like shiny, but like matte silver gray slacks, a black button-down shirt that is very form-fitting, long sleeve to hide the wrist pieces you wear all the time, and a matching. The pants, obviously, like a bolero tie that is just slightly loose, one button unbuttoned. Hair is trimmed, clean shaven, and a pair of what look like knockoff Louis Vuitton dress shoes.
You guys, this is the fanciest I've ever been. I look amazing.
You
Wait,
do.
wait,
I
wait.
would also recommend maybe not speaking so much when you are in character.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Strong silent type. Gotcha.
Don't sell yourself
Mysterious,
short. When
yes.
you go full
Yes.
armor, that is an impressive outfit.
It's true. In a different way. This is a different type of combat. Social combat.
Yeah.
Just social
Um,
hack.
So after the party, because it was about 3 in the morning, you guys went home, you slept, and then you got up in the morning and you did your lunch.
First couch that I sleep on, I don't have a house.
Yeah. So.
You
so
can crash at my place.
Okay.
Again.
You don't have to worry about the couch. There's a guest room.
Okay.
Wow, you
Once
get
again,
your own
thank you.
And in the meantime, then Smiley, you when you wake up, you get a text from Joey, and the text is a string of emojis, and the string seems to go. There's a little cop emoji, and then a little fist emoji, and a little sad face, and then a cop car
I've been to that bar
And-
before.
picture, and then a little a cage, and then the next text following that is an address, and the emoji accompanying it is the old-fashioned razor blade emoji.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to rest of the team and I say, hey, I don't want to text anyone this. It's a good chance that something's not gonna be on my phone. Pseudo, do you got an idea about this address or this why it'd be associated with the razor blade emoji?
It's
I mean,
razor-
if you... I know what the... Okay, so the first part is pretty standard. He has been violated by the police, and he wants us to get a hold of Razor and Blade. You know who Razor and Blade are, right?
No?
Razor
Should
and
I?
Blade, the underground video sensations.
Oh, okay.
They're amazing.
They are all over SpooTube on the dark web.
I watch them all the time. I'm like their biggest fan.
Do you know how to get a hold of them?
Yeah. Well, I mean, ish. I mean, I can message them through the app. I don't know if they'll see it or not. We should probably just go to the address.
I mean, if that could be where they are. I mean, Blade and I don't speak anymore. There was a little falling out, but I'm sure they've forgotten about it by now.
Has anybody Googled the address to make sure that it's legit and it's not a trap?
See, the first portion of the emojis, I just thought he had ended up at the Blue Oyster. So hey.
Wait, the Blue Oyster Bar, correct?
Yes.
Oh well, that is an obvious mistake, and honestly, I don't know which one would be more pleasant for him.
Well, I mean, obviously.
Either way, he needs to go back to the academy if he's going to get caught by the police.
Or this is a trap.
All of the above.
So does someone look up the address?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll look up the address.
Okay. It's a coffee shop.
So does this mean the heat is onto him and he wants us to meet him? I mean...
I guess you'll have to go to the coffee shop.
To the coffee shop, then.
All right.
Yeah.
Hold on. Before we go, we should probably have some kind of plan in case this is a setup.
Scatter, meet back at the place we were last night. The last place we were last night.
Should maybe like one person go there and the other people just do like surveillance?
You are the most physical of us. If you wish to go in, we will keep Overwatch.
I mean, I'm not that strong. He shows his little skinny arms. I'm not that strong. I guess I am kind of agile, and I mean, with my Trem gear.
You're sort of bulletproof.
Yeah, more or less. So yeah, I mean, I guess I can go in.
I guess I'm also the melee. I mean, I've got the skills in fisticuff, melee weapons.
So maybe if the two of us go,
yeah,
and you can be the fist, and I can be or you can be the sword, and I can be the shield.
Sounds good to me.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So you guys head to this coffee shop, and you walk in. It's just a regular coffee shop. Not nothing particularly interesting about the place, except like it's got a vintage theme. So there's sort of old computers and things from the 70s, just stuff for the aesthetic. Is everywhere, and the old computers are just kind of set up around the coffee shop. Some things on.
And is it like a mom and pop, or is it as mom and pop as it can be in this corporatized world?
As much as it can be, yeah. This is, as you're in a poorer area, this is not, so it is, it's a kind of as best they can in this area. And it's definitely in an old neighborhood. It's, kind of one of those, the coffee shop in the bottom, and there's apartments, all above. So you kind of show up, you look around, and one of the as you come in, and you walk up to the counter, one of the employees comes in from shows up from the back, has a look at you, and says, hi, how can I help you?
What is your special for today?
And they kind of look you over, and they give you a bit of an odd look for a second. And then they go, a Joey?
Yeah, and if that's the special, I'd really like to have that.
I gotcha. And they hand you a coffee in a to-go cup. But as you take it, you know that little sort of
The cardboard
cardboard
sleeve.
sleeve thing. There's a little note tucked into that.
Just grab a table.
And so I believe it is right about time for a little break
Okay.
at this point. So we will leave you in suspense. What does the note say? Dun dun dun.
All right. There you
Sorry.
go. All right, we are back then.
Alrighty. So we are returning. We are back from our little commercial break there. And we need those little bumper animations, you know. Capers Cyberpunk will be right back after these messages. And then so we've come back, and so Smiley's in the, or not Smiley,
Haskins.
Haskins. Sorry, Haskins is in the coffee shop, and you guys have with Blue Guardian. You guys are hanging out, and you've been given a special coffee, which is, you know, just your regular double. I'm outing myself as Canadian, with a note attached. And so you go and you sit down, you know, you slip, and I imagine you sort of casually, quietly sort of get the note out, and you read it. And the note is from Razor and Blade. And as you know, they are longtime old school hackers. They've been around for ages. They've been fighting the man for a really long time. They've been in and out of jail, but they've also like just sort of miraculously avoided being arrested in the nick of time. Very, very often they're very slippery. Somehow they just always seem to get away. And because of that, you all have very strong suspicions that they are capers, because of just their seemingly uncanny ability to never get caught. But one of the things they are very well known for, as you discussed earlier, is the fact that they are able to they have the ability to put on sort of underground broadcasts. So they have an app that you can download where you can sort of watch the show, or you can go to certain web pages or certain places in virtual reality or in cyberspace, where you can sort of watch the show or get information from them. But it's not easy. You kind of have to know where to look. So this note is from them, and it says, it's letting you know that Joey's been arrested, as well as another group, a number of other hackers. Someone, as you've already discovered, now they say someone, that it's Gene Hackford, at Ellington Mineral, has been picking off capers, getting them arrested for hacking into the company. And they say, if you can bring us proof that Gene Hackford is behind this, we'll do the work. We'll broadcast it. We'll let everybody know. We'll, inform the authorities. We will get this information out there for them. But we need you to go to the, to get this, some kind of proof. You need some kind of evidence. So they say, you can get us some kind of proof, bring it back here, just, drop it off at the coffee shop. We'll get it out there for you. So we can get this guy, yeah, we can help you out, but you need to get the info.
I pass the note over to Guardian. Is like, yep, he was arrested.
I mean, I kind of figured from the text.
Yeah.
Well,
It looks like, we're definitely going to make that dinner tonight. We can get his password and maybe get into his system and get the proof we need.
yep. Bring him to justice.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be that great of a justice. I think the corporate's going to be more upset that he got caught than what he was doing.
Some kind of justice is better than no justice.
Oh, no, it'll be hacker justice, that's for sure. All right, let's go.
And hopefully we can help Joey and the others too.
Hopefully. Jailbreak at this point might be a little premature, but yeah, that might be where this goes.
Yes.
All right, let's go hook up with Pseudo and Smiley.
Absolutely.
Okay, so before you guys go to this party tonight, are you gonna do any kind of what's the word I'm looking for?
Reconnaissance?
Yeah, on the company. I mean, you already looked the guy up, but he's very good at not putting anything sort of, public facing. Look up, the company, any of these people. Are you gonna do that, or you don't want to just get party?
I would actually like to set one thing up, and I want to try and get into the restaurant's system. We did it once already to kind of get these guys
Okay.
a table, and what I want it to do is the table we got was actually Gene's.
Okay.
So my table happens to be right by the entrance. So when he comes in and throws a fit, I can possibly offer him a table.
So you wanna, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's very
little
clever.
stingy.
That's very clever. All right. So we're gonna do a little hacking now.
Yeah.
Try a little hack. All right. How are you gonna hack this? What is your plan? Just gonna use the usual way, get on your laptop and
Yeah, I think so. Just do it.
Programs and okay.
Yeah. Why change a winning game, right? When do we actually shuffle the cards? When we go through all of them?
Yes, when you get to the bottom.
Okay.
Of
I wasn't
can
sure if
also-
there was something you could trigger a reshuffle.
You can also spend a moxie to reshuffle your cards.
Okay, cool. I was hoping that might be the answer, but I'm not there yet.
It's an option.
That 5 is not enough. So I'm going to go with that King of Diamonds.
King of Diamonds is perfect. You swap Gene's table with, which is a very, very nice table, with the last minute, crap table crammed in the corner over by the bathrooms that nobody wants.
Right, no, I'm actually giving it to these guys. I'm giving his reservation away.
Well, just giving his reservation away.
Yeah, so when he gets there and he doesn't have one, I can offer him a place to stay.
I see. Okay, so you're just replacing his information with someone else's.
Yeah, I figure he'll show up, get pissed off, I can intervene and get it in, and it'll seem very coincidental.
All right, perfect. With a King of Diamonds, you've done that with no complications or boons, so you managed to just swap his name for somebody else. All right, is anybody else going to do anything?
I'm going to sign up for an internship at the company.
Okay.
Since my character is 18, I'm going to sign up for an internship, and then I'm going to try to research as much as I can about this guy and his career and the things that he's done, so that when we meet him, I can fanboy over him and hopefully build up his ego and get him talking.
Okay. All right. So show me. Gonna do an expertise, I guess, for your. Yeah, that ends up being the sort of ability that gets used the most in hacking, I think.
Yeah.
We're not really ending up, like, you guys aren't doing anything physical, so we haven't ended up using that. Not yet, anyway.
So that would be either expertise, would it be electronics or sciences?
Yeah, yeah. The electronics would count
Okay.
for hacking, or I guess hacking specifically, but I don't know if that's a specific skill. I can't remember if that's a specific skill.
Nine of spades. It isn't hacking is not a specific skill.
Yeah, I didn't remember it being.
So nine of spades, eight of diamonds,
Eh.
four of diamonds.
Oh no.
Not doing super great. Seven of clubs. I'm gonna spend a moxie. Nine of hearts.
Nine is that'll get you an average target score. So
Okay, yeah, I'll go with the nine of hearts.
great. So when you kind of look up this, you look up Gene, you look up sort of the company. He's been with the company for quite a long time. He sort of quickly rose in the ranks, became their IT security head. He's head of the department. He did that, rose to prominence very quickly. And you find a couple of recent, news articles from the last couple of years, all of which state that this particular company has been involved in a couple of, so there were a couple of environmental disasters associated with the company. Because they are a mining company, a mineral mining company. Obviously, there's the mining itself, which is it has environmental damages. There's not properly disposing of toxic chemicals and that sort of thing, and also they do a lot of shipping, and so in a wide variety of areas, there seems to have been a number of accidents causing environmental damage. All of these accidents are blamed on hackers.
Which hackers?
Well, golly, wouldn't you notice? Wouldn't you know? Your dad was one of the first.
Hmm.
And your buddy Phantom Freak, who disappeared a couple weeks ago, seems to have been blamed and arrested for the one that happened just last month. And as you look into it, all the people on the list, not all the people on the list, a handful of people on the list, their real names, of course, are listed as perpetrators of these hack attacks that caused this horrible environmental damage.
Does it list who the who's in charge of these cases? Were they all arrested by the same like agent or officer or something like that?
I don't think the general news wouldn't really tell you.
If there's a news release, maybe
News release, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a department of the New York police that deals with hacking, and there's a head of that.
Okay.
There is a head of that department, yes. But yeah, you note that the people on this list are also the people who are being blamed. So there's clear connection between sort of this. Yeah, sorry, you make the connections. Yeah, there's a. So some of the people on this list have already been arrested.
That means we're on the list as targets.
Seems to be.
I share this information, of course, with all of you guys.
Yay, charged with a crime that we didn't do.
I'm gonna have to escape to the Los Angeles Underground at this rate.
I think Haskins is going to spend some time before this reconning what the security level is going to be at this event. Is there going to be
Okay.
does we can either go one of two ways: just general security at the restaurant opening, or is I just drew a blank on his name. Our target.
Gene.
Hmm?
Gene?
Being, if he's going to have any type of security presence, since he's a somewhat
Oh.
executive of the company, just to know what we may have to deal with if things go.
Oh, okay. You expect that it's probably just going to be the restaurant, the sort of neighborhood, usual neighborhood security. Can you imagine that high-end restaurants probably usually have one or two of their own security members,
Okay.
on their own. But you didn't notice when you were able to sort of do the deep dive um, into Gene's background. You never particularly noticed him traveling with security.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, if you're all ready to go, we will. You guys are all done up. You clean up nice.
Going to give Blue Guardian a crash course in the different utensils that'll be on the table, how to go forward with fine dining experiences.
Yeah.
He picks up on it quick. Okay, so you use this fork for this meal and that spoon for this meal, right?
You start on the outside and work your way in with each course.
Gotcha. Okay.
And if you do it wrong, just act like it was your choice and you're doing it on purpose.
Well, if somebody calls you on it, tell them it's how they do it in France.
I was about to say, I once heard someone that when they, did something like that, they'd be like, oh, well, that's how they do it in, France or Europe or whatever. So I'll probably just go with that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Oh, and then I'm gonna also hand you a cloth handkerchief to put in your pocket. Like, it's also like if they serve you escargot, it's just slip it in the hanky. Don't spit it out.
You don't actually have to eat the gross things they give you.
Oh, and remember to pre-dine because the meal will be very delicious, but the portions are very small. I've seen how fast you devour those 18-inch pizzas you like.
I mean, yeah, I'll grab a couple cheeseburgers before.
Before you change clothes.
Right, obviously.
Quick stop at McDougal's.
Hamburger steaks. It's mustard on his new suit.
Like he when he gets ready to put on the new suit, he treats it like with kit gloves. Like, this is the most expensive thing besides his cell phone that he currently owns. So he wants it to last, and he's going to take very good care of it.
So we're gonna have this is the cinematic montage where, I mean, you got most of you except Blue Guardian, already looked pretty slick, but we're dialing it up now. So we're having the moment where you get out of the cab or whatever in front of the restaurant, and you have your sort of your slow motion hair toss, glamour moment as you walk into this restaurant. And because it's a grand opening of a high-end restaurant, there's the the society papers and sort of thing, the vanity magazines, that sort of thing. They're taking pictures of all the rich and famous people enjoying this lovely place. And so you guys all glamorously get into this restaurant, and of course you all get there early, because you're setting up for a sting. But all of the really famous and really, really wealthy people show up fashionably late. Um, so you get to you really get some time to spend in this space, and you're obviously served the meals, and you have extremely elaborate meals, fancy things and foams and sauces and very elaborate dishes, because of course we're in the future. One of the things that is very things that vintage is very in um, at this point in time, and because of technology and whatnot, um, most sort of everyday common stuff is very cheaply made. It's very common. It is very easy to sort of dollar store quality is kind of the quality of basically everything for like the majority of society. You've got your MDF furniture that snaps if you lean on it too hard and that sort of thing. But this restaurant has like solid wood, hand carved, vintage wood tables and that sort of thing, like really, crystal wine glasses. So this is all very fancy for you if this was sort of not the sort of thing you're usually familiar with. Um, when you're in there, you're like, it's very obvious what a different world it is and how different it is from the class disparity is quite extreme while you're in there. But as predicted, Gene arrives, expecting his table. Uh, he's got some beautiful looking person on his arm, and he's denied at the door because you guys hacked the thing. But he begins arguing. He's showing them his phone, and he's got the sort of confirmation email message sort of on his phone, and he's like, I booked my table. What's going on? It doesn't take much to get him angry. He seems to have a pretty hair trigger.
Once he gets good and worked up, I think Pseudo kind of will take notice, although she's been paying attention the whole time, and get up from her table and approach. Now, she is wearing a white Pravda gown, very simple it's very simple and basic, thigh high slit, but also there's like a gunmetal leather harness, and heels with what look like diamonds. Also, the gunmetal harness really offsets the gown, which offsets her hair, which is again perfectly straight and clean. And she just approaches and it's like, "Is there a problem?"
He's my table's gone.
This gentleman has a reservation. Don't seat him. I'm being polite to the server, but obviously I'm taking his side.
Yeah, and the server's like, I'm terribly sorry. I cannot. As you see, he sort of turns the pad around, and the pad, has the tables in the restaurant, and there's names and reservations associated with them, and you see perfectly well where his table is supposed to be, and that it's got someone else's name on it, and that's where your party is sitting right now. And Gene is showing you his phone that has the confirmation email saying, that's my table right there.
Well, there's no need to cause a scene. I would offer you the spare seat at my table, but I see you have a date.
The date seems a little embarrassed by all of the attention.
I know that this is the highlight of the social season, having the opening of such a place such as Anthony Bourdain's restaurant. He's alive in this timeline, as he should be, by the way.
Yes, I agree. And, well, well, let's can bring another chair.
Perhaps you can sit at the children's table over there by the kitchen.
Oh, God.
And I give her a catty look.
He Give me a second to look at his shoe. I wanted to see if there's a personality thing I gave him that would. Okay. He laughs, and she gets so offended that he is laughing at her with you that she slaps him and walks off to the bar and leaves him.
Poor breeding. I'm sure you can do better.
Thank you. Yes, I can.
Would you like to join me at my table?
I would.
And I'll walk over back to my table and stand next to my chair.
Okay, he will pull it out for you.
Graciously sit.
And he'll make like a really big show of it, like he's really
Oh yeah.
he's kind of an over the top sort of person. Yeah, he's very So
And then
he
I'll
pulls
work
a chair
I'll
for
work
you.
the small talk thing in while the rest of the team does their thing.
All right. So what is the rest of the team doing?
After watching what a kind of colossal douche this guy is, I'm gonna look at Smiley. I was like, I bet you $50 that his password is going to be like, alpha male 1520.
Even I have to say, ew.
No, I know, but you want to bet?
Dying dudes that's like alpha male energy.
All
Come
right.
on, bet.
So, I'm gonna be using I'm gonna drop something, bend down to the table to where it'll be less obvious, and I'm gonna use my power to go for deep. I don't know if it would be a deep boost, but I want to go for his password.
You're gonna read his mind?
Yep.
Okay. So what physical manifestation of your telepathy, how does that, I know you're hiding yourself, but
Mhm.
if because of course we the audience we have the camera on you and we can see you, how does your telepathy manifest itself when you do this?
So with these manifestations, are they specific to me, or is it like something that happens in the environment around me, or?
Either or. There has to be some kind of every caper power shows in some way, whether all small objects in the room float around every time you do this, or your eyes glow, or you get crab hands. I don't know. There's something. It's just so that you can't use your powers and be totally stealth about it. Like there's always a tell.
Let's say that since I'm trying to read his thoughts, it's kind of like the Sherlocky mind palace, little figures floating in the air, kind of writing kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like these sort of images kind of appear around your face
Mm-hmm.
As this happens. So that's why you sort of ducked under the.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of these like. It's almost like graphics, but in real life, appearing around your head. Oh, that's fun. I like that. So obviously, your buddy's gonna help distract from this, I'm sure.
Yes, I will gush over him. I'll be like, "Oh my God, you are Gene Hackford. I'm such a huge fan. I've been following your career for years. I signed up specifically at your company so I could do an IT internship so I could get to study under you because I know you are a genius."
Oh, he loves the attention. He loves you telling him how great he is.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So in order to read his mind,
Mm-hmm.
you will have to believe telepathy requires you to meet or exceed his mind score. Get in.
Yeah.
So you will have to pull a card.
All right.
Heavy.
Up. Well, how's
Well,
that
then,
hit ya? King of Spades.
that is a success with a boon. So, damn. That's a really good. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that except for the good Joker. So, because you got it all primed and you're talking about IT, you do get his password. It is, as predicted, something about something or another alpha male. And, God alpha male. But you sort of pick up, as you're digging for this password, that he, the boon that you're going to get, is that when they mention, working at the company, he thinks for a minute about his private server at the company where he keeps stuff.
When I find all this, I look over across the table this really quickly because my power kicks off like in a turn or whatever, and I'll shoot that over to goodness.
The Blue Guardian is
Yeah,
at the table with you.
I'm gonna shoot that over to the Blue Guardian and give him all that information.
Okay. So now he has a private server inside the building at the company. And that's where he keeps things. And you think maybe this private server seems rather important. Maybe where he's hiding some information. But you kind of get the impression as well, I think, that he wouldn't have anything on him. Being an IT expert, he's not the sort of person who would carry around a cell phone and, information on it or something that would be easily accessible. So
He might have a VPN set up on his cell phone, though, that connects into it.
yes, for sure.
I say, not knowing anybody who has that in the IT world, no. Nope. Very unsafe.
I don't know anything about my knowledge of computers kind of peaked around 2005. So, I don't know anything. I'm just making shit up.
I'm gonna look at Smiley and be like, if we have what we need, and we're ready to go, I'm ready to create a distraction so that we can leave without being noticed.
Or we go and leave our companion here. I hate to say it, to let us know if he starts coming our way.
Well, I was figuring it was going to be a little more flashy and that we would all leave.
Oh,
He
well,
may or
hey,
may not be leaving himself. So
Okay.
I would like to, I would like to spend a moxie
Okay.
to change the narrative a little bit. That on each table, since this is a fine dining, elegant restaurant that is very retro, that they have, about yay big like oil lights on the tables
Yes.
that are with a flame that's oil.
Yes.
And I would like to use my control a small object from a distance.
Yes.
And basically, this is so bad. This guy's really kind of annoyed me with what he's been doing. I'm going to use my power to shove that into his lap.
So you're all sitting there, Smiley kind of ducks under the table for a minute. Blue Guardian is just gushing. Pseudo is just looking fabulous. and dignified, and um, you know, and Haskins is looking very chill, very peaceful. He just kind of yeah, but you still have a tell. There's still a
Mhm.
sort of visual representation. So how does that sort of manifest when you kind of knock this thing over? Do you like?
So like, so it's a different tell than when I'm talking to something. Obviously, um, like items around me, like so, like the plates and the silverware will start rattling.
Ooh. So the whole table suddenly, you're sort of everything's going along normally, and all of a sudden the whole table rattles like the same way it would have a big sort of big truck went by,
Right.
but only your table.
Yeah,
And
things within like a 3 foot radius around me, but yeah,
and the tables, a couple of the tables next to you,
yeah.
and it just seems to, oh gosh, weird. The oil lamp just landed right in Gene's lap, and of course he, as soon as it knocks over, it knocks the flame out, but it pours this oil all over him, which is of course ruining his very expensive suit. And this immediately sends him into an absolute rage. And he's, you know, starts yelling about how his suit is ruined. And,
I think
uh,
I think Pseudo's going to yell with him. Once he
okay.
is obviously okay, she starts yelling at the manager.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah, and it's like, telling him what's like. Do you have spare clothes? Did you in your limo or whatever? Can we take can we get this fixed? Blah blah blah. Trying to help.
Okay. Um, but he's just sort of outraged at this point. I mean, at first he lost his table, and now his suit has been ruined, and so his entire day has been ruined. Everything is the worst. His life is horrible. This poor rich man. He has had enough, and he is going home. And he will be speaking to management in the morning. And so off he goes in his huff.
Might I have a chance before he storms out to try and whisper something to him before he leaves?
Oh yeah.
Basically, Suda will kind of touch him on the arm and lean forward, and it's like, the night doesn't have to be a total loss,
Oh ho ho. All right. Well, you can follow. He'll accept you walking him out.
And I will do so, and that walking out will be preferably all the way back to where he lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which will be probably, knowing him, probably a basement office of the company, so.
Yeah. He has a penthouse. He's a penthouse sort of person.
Well, la-di-da.
In the in the apartment building, kind of nearby the office building, like you can kind of see the office from there.
All right.
Yeah, and he's got the penthouse. It's all very lovely.
Yeah. So I'll go off with him and send these guys a text saying I'll get access from the inside. You get what you need. If you need help, let me know.
Okay. Well, you're kind of getting the impression that you might have to get into the corporate headquarters.
Oh, and that's not where he is. I thought the penthouse
No.
might be like in the same.
Oh, in the same building, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, why not? It's in the same building.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll make it easier. Yeah, so he brings you in. Yeah, it's a mixed-use building. Well, yeah, there's a couple of penthouse apartments for the VIPs at the top of the corporate.
It's an enclave,
Yeah. I don't know. Rich people do weird stuff, right?
100%.
So,
I assume.
I wouldn't know. So he's got this nice apartment up there, and of course he's showing it off to you and everything. And he tells you that the IT office is just a few floors down.
And I'll get that kind of texted over to the crew, and then give him the look that he's wanting, and just say, "Let's get you out of those pants."
Oh yeah.
And then let that message
to the fireplace.
Yep, goes to the fireplace. Blah blah blah. as she takes one for the team. Possibly, I'm guessing one, maybe two. Okay, maybe 3.5 if I'm generous.
Team MVP.
MVP.
And if she can, she's gonna try and get him to like pass out,
Oh, okay.
so she can ransack things. So
Okay.
we'll get back to that.
Well, give me a check
Okay.
for, let's see, resilience.
I have resilience. Yes, I do.
You know
This
what?
is-
I'm gonna pull for him now. I'm green.
Okay.
I haven't pulled a card yet. So I'm gonna draw for him.
I want to see what my target number is. Okay.
Oh,
It's a little sub-average.
what did you get?
I got an 8 of clubs. I'm gonna push that because
Okay.
reasons. I am gonna spend a moxie to go back to the 8.
Okay. So he failed his body or his resilience check. So you do in fact wear him. But the what's the complication? He's not unconscious.
Okay.
But he's exhausted. He's worn out. But
He's doing
still,
that like flop in the bed, like.
but he's still awake.
Yeah,
He's still
that's
awake.
fair.
Yeah, he's not gonna do much, but he's awake.
Yeah. And like, I'll go. Will come back to me because that takes a little bit of time.
Okay, so
Not a
how
lot,
are the
but-
rest of you gonna?
Not gonna go
Yeah,
that
I
far.
know how to.
I have an idea of how we can get in the building.
What's your
Okay.
idea?
Go for it. Yeah.
So hear me out. I come to deliver a special package for him, and I just hold up the bag of drugs that I have.
Okay.
You look all scruffy. It's perfect. You're like, I'm his grumpy one.
I'm his drug
You're a very well dressed drug dealer. You're like the.
Well, of course I am. Who else do you think he would buy drugs from? You think he's
He's-
gonna buy it from a corner dealer? Hell no.
You're his drug concierge.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, what's the word?
sommelier.
Sommelier.
I'm his,
Sommelier.
I'm his
Who's
substance sommelier.
There you go. Quote of the night.
I mean, unless you guys have got a better idea.
No, that pretty much
Nope.
works because I mean,
Nope.
Suda's already given him the package, or she's taking the package. One of
I already
two.
got the package. Thank you.
So yeah, I
I mean, I enjoy small trinkets.
walk into the. I figure we just walk in our fancy clothes and say we're here to make a delivery, and we kind of know how this guy acts. So
So I guess we're your bodyguards then.
I mean, a substance sommelier would absolutely have bodyguards. I think I've never known anyone who. I mean, I don't know that many people who've done it, but from what I've heard and seen on television, most of the time, people with that much in product usually carry some muscle with them. And I don't know if you've seen me, but I don't exactly scream tough and intimidating.
I think I can pull off the intimidating for you.
Okay. I mean, is that worth? Unless you guys have, like I said, unless you guys have got a better idea, I think this is the way in the building at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I mean,
Okay.
delivery. We get up to the penthouse, knock on the door. It's like, here are your drugs, sir, and force our way in.
So yeah, we go to the corporate
Okay.
headquarters.
Mhm.
Walk up to the security desk.
And explain. All right.
Excuse me, sir. I am here to deliver a package for Mr. Hackford. I am his sommelier, so to speak.
Okay. So the and the secretary or the security says, "Okay."
I was supposed to make a delivery to him this evening at the grand opening of the new restaurant, but well, he had a less than charming experience and had to leave suddenly.
Okay.
And
Wait.
he left his package there, and it's as his substance sommelier, it is very important that I deliver this package. You know how he gets when he doesn't get what he wants. And I give her like the you know how he gets.
And she's like, "I know how he gets." So she rings up the penthouse.
He's indisposed at the moment.
It's
I give her a wink.
Oh,
I was
Well,
instructed just to leave it outside of his door, and he would pick it up once he was finished.
Okay, you're gonna have to convince the security,
Absolutely.
and I will draw as well. We'll do a sort of.
Uh-oh.
Can I help in any way? Because I'm standing looking big and intimidating behind him, like, you need to answer yes.
Okay, so your additional intimidation, we'll give you an extra card to pull.
Okay, so that's gonna give me 3 cards. We got 7 of diamonds, 3 of diamonds. Jeez. 2 of hearts.
Ooh, ouch.
I'm gonna spend a moxie.
God.
5 of hearts.
Oh,
Can I spend another moxie, or is that it? Am I just done?
I'll let you. All right,
I'll blow my last moxie.
Okay.
Nope, 7 of hearts.
Well, the security guard tells you, "No, I'm sorry. I can't do it without his permission. He's got a button up there, and I can't let you in unless he says I can let you in. So I'm just gonna have to call him and tell him that you're here. Can I do that?" I mean, if it's so important, he'll let you in.
But like, you know how particular they can be. Just say that there is a delivery, not that there is a substance waiting for him.
Okay. So she phones him up and she says, "There's a delivery. I'm going to." And
Can I spend a moxie to intercept that call when it comes in? Like it goes to the suite phone, and I'll buzz him up.
okay. All right. So you buzz him up. I'm gonna give out Moxie to all of you for being so good at being in character and moving the plot along.
Do we know where his private server is? Is it in his apartment, or is it on the IT floor?
You're not really sure at this point. Probably in his apartment. Be the
But
most.
at the very least, I think he's got a local computer up there that would be able to access his private server.
Okay.
So so you guys get buzzed up. You head on up there, and and Pseudo answers the door.
The door's left conveniently unlocked.
Or the door's left conveniently unlocked.
And I'm going to go
Right.
back and continue to distract him while they do whatever they do, because then noises will be made to be covering.
Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of stealth. I would like you guys each to do let's see, that would be stealth. Agility. Be an agility check. So we're gonna do some agility to see if you guys can be quiet. Except Pseudo, because Pseudo is doing the opposite of being quiet. I imagine Pseudo is making extra noise just on purpose.
Vociferously, indeed.
Yeah.
So,
In a
next
very
pull.
British way.
Got a 3 of hearts
Oh
my
my.
first pull.
Nice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Uh,
Ooh, ace of clubs, nice.
Wow.
I got the Queen of Hearts, so I'm lucky.
Sweet.
Queen of clubs.
Okay.
Dang.
All right. So we've got some complications. So the complication is, as you're sneaking, you know, there's a. It's one of those big sort of. There's a bedroom and a bathroom off to the side, but most of the apartment is sort of a big open kind of loft area. But there's all these levels, you know. So you guys are kind of crouched down, sneaking along, and you knock some things over as you're sneaking in. And he starts to sort of, hey, what's that? What's all that noise? What's going on?
I'm going to attempt to distract him.
All right. You gonna use a power, or you gonna use...
I'm trying to figure out how to put this in a stream-friendly manner.
Okay, so you're...
Shall we say verbally?
Okay. You will, let's try...
Is there like a performance roll?
That'd be like a charisma check, I think.
Yeah, it'd be a charisma sort of thing. Yeah, would be, it sort of covers your...
Charisma diplomacy if you're convincing him to not pay attention to that.
How about-
noise.
Convincing him not to pay attention, yeah.
How about charisma acrobatics?
Ooh, there we go.
Ooh,
There
yes.
we go.
Yes.
There may be a swing involved.
Ew, he would be the type that would have that.
A good
He would.
joke.
He absolutely would.
Is Joker the good thing or the bad thing?
It
That's
says
the good Joker.
Okay. So basically like a critical success.
Yes.
Absolutely critical success. If we were in a combat or like a turn-based sort of issue, you would actually get another turn.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, nice.
So, what that
About time it would be my turn.
you are very good at providing a distraction. You provide a distraction at just the right moment, and he is completely distracted.
Gene
Wow.
Hackford learned some things today.
Yeah.
Gene Hackford learned some things today.
Yes.
Did. He's having a lovely time. And you guys are afraid to sneak around his apartment. Because he is on another planet right now. You guys could basically, like, as long as you're not obnoxiously loud,
Don't turn the stereo on.
yeah, you could basically do whatever you want.
Cool. Let's see if we can find a computer to use that password to get into his secret server and download what we need.
Alright, so you're gonna find his secret server. Yeah, so you find, you know, as you guys sort of look around his apartment, you sort of find his office, where he's got a bunch of computers set up. Now, when you get there and you look at his computers, you notice something really interesting. There's no mouse. There's no keyboard. There's towers and monitors. The computer's there. But there doesn't seem to be anything that allows you to directly interact with the computer. And yet, the computers are running, there are plenty of programs going on, there are, you know, notes strewn around of things that he's been working on. Clearly, he's able to access these computers. But they're not set up in a way that you, like, you kind of have to, like, plug in your own keyboard if you want to.
Please tell me you've got a keyboard or a mouse in your backpack.
You got it, of course.
Of course I do.
Okay, good. 'Cause
Well,
apparently
you would have a laptop or something. You hook into it. Like, it's just very unusual.
the ultimate
nobody-
secured.
He's probably a caper who can talk to computers with his mind.
Ooh.
I've heard about people like that.
Well,
I mean, but we've got some in. Nah, dude, I'm pretty sure we've got some in our not our group, but like the bigger group. Like I've heard a couple guys talk about like how they can jack into the cyberspace without having to use a rig.
Ooh, I bet Razor and Blade are like that because that's the only reason that they could do what they do.
I'll put his name on the list then.
Better yet, while you're getting the information, give me the drugs. Give me the drugs you have. I'm gonna go around the apartment planting drugs everywhere while they're getting information.
I love it.
And then we're going to send an anonymous message to the head of HR claiming that he has got a massive drug problem and that they need to search his apartment.
Pretty sure if I remember my stuff from my security course, this is a violation of most most corporate policies. You're not allowed to have your own private server on company property. That's a security violation. He could be reprimanded at best or fired. I mean, in most cases, they would just straight up fire you for something like this.
Right.
And that's assuming he doesn't have any confidential company information on it, in which case then they might even press criminal charges against him.
Right, but
or sue him, or both.
So by planting the drugs, reporting it to HR, and we can link that to the press that their head of security has an addiction problem, Razor and Blade can have a field day
That's going to be an
his reputation.
They would have to terminate him immediately in order to save face. Or get very creative with how they spin that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's gonna ruin his reputation.
Okay. So we access the computers then. We have his login information.
Plant the drugs.
So what information are we able to pull from his server?
Okay. Just looking at the time here, we're getting to the end of our little adventure. So you realize that the information is stored in cyberspace, and so you have to actually jack in to get to this information. If you're not able to do that, directly, you have a sort of interfacing. You guys work this out, sort of interfacing ability, and I had intended to do some combat with you all, but we had sort of ended up doing entirely social game.
Yeah.
You guys were just too good at talking and getting everything done. I had sort of intended for you to maybe fight some goons on your way in and that sort of thing, but
that might be my fault. I just did that in our Thursday night game
no,
too. We played Dragon Bane.
Honestly, it's one of the things I love about Capers is just that combat is very unnecessary. It's not like the main focus of the game.
Right.
So it's not that it's not a part of it. Obviously, it is, and you have turn-based and there's all of that. But all the mechanics of it work exactly the same as we have played already, in the sense that you get so many cards to draw. You have to beat everybody else's score, that sort of thing. It works exactly like that, except it's just in turn-based. And there's just sort of more focus on the rules in combat. But we also didn't really get to explore going into cyberspace too much, but that's okay. You go to imagine when you get into this to get this information, you've got your sort of cityscape where it sort of looks like each sort of chunk of information, each different file is sort of its own building, or folder is a sort of its own building, and every the sort of section that it's in is the block. And so you sort of walk around this virtual neighborhood for a while, and you guys find that that Jean has been responsible for all of the every time one of these environmental disasters occurred, and the hackers were blamed, a huge amount of money was siphoned from the company into Gene's private account. And he was using the attacks that he was essentially hacking into the server himself from internally, but using this program, which was part of what you found at the beginning, to make it look like it was coming from the outside. Because as you deduced, he is a caper who is able to connect to computers through his minds. And so he was getting away with this for a long time. On top of that, he had been using the company's, his position in the company to compile a list of other capers who would be able to do what he does. And was using these attacks to kind of get them out of the way. And so he was framing people, having them arrested, blaming them for the work, and also blaming them for the money lost. However, he was keeping all of this money. So you're able to grab this information, and you send it off because you know just how to how to get it. You run out of there.
Can we, all the money he stole, can we move that into like an offshore account somewhere?
You guys steal the money from that he stole?
You can help get our compatriots out of jail.
Yeah. So you,
And
while you're in there,
we can build someplace where people, I mean, like me, like all the other kids who are living on the street, who this corporation has hurt a lot of people. We can start working towards helping those people who got hurt, give them a place to stay, give them a place to go, and help start repairing their lives.
Oh, we could become philanthropists.
Yup.
yeah.
Actually do some good with this money.
And you know what? This is philanthropy money. He was stealing really a lot of money. So yeah, you siphon a chunk of that off for yourselves. You all leave. Yeah.
Plus, it's going to look extra suspicious when they go to do accounting and they find that all that money got siphoned to an offshore account somewhere. It makes it look like he was getting his jig was up. He was getting ready to run.
Yes.
Wait, you're always broke. How do you have an offshore account?
I mean, I don't have an offshore account. It was.
But he does. And
yes, he does.
But Gene does, and
And
you know how
we know all of his credentials to get in.
We do now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you start making some. So you guys all managed to get out. Thanks to your distraction, we'll call it. You guys managed to get this information. You get it onto onto a USB. You very cleverly left all the drugs, hidden around. You take off. You send out your notices to HR and whatnot, and in the next couple of days, you hear about how he was arrested. Gene gets arrested. It's publicly. It's a very big deal. The company is trying to spin it. They're trying to, find ways to make it look like it's not really their fault, or the company surely cannot be blamed.
Rogue agent.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. Rogue agent or something. Yeah. So they're trying really hard to cover this up, but because each attack was associated with a major environmental disaster, and it comes out that this was all an inside job, it's really difficult for the company to spin this, even to the public. So you guys have done one of the most important things you're actually capable of doing in Cyberpunk, which is actually make people mistrust the mega corporations. You've poked holes in their veneer of respectability, and that is praise. Exactly the goal.
I guess we can't take all the credit. I mean, Joey's kind of responsible for kicking this all off.
He is.
Oh, we should probably get him out of jail.
We should get them all out of jail.
That's
Before
true.
he sends us a soap, eggplant emoji from prison.
And hopefully no more fists. Oh, that reminds me.
We can
And
get my dad out of jail.
I'm gonna siphon
Your
10,000 off of that fund and put
Yeah.
it in the account of the maitre d worker who was dealing with Jean's screaming, because I mean that's the kind of person I am. And also an apology note, because I also yelled, but I was in character.
Wait, I thought you were an orphan.
My dad went to jail because of Gene a long time ago. So I've effectively been an orphan. My mom died a long time ago. So
Because of Jean.
well, I mean, my dad went to jail because of Gene. Yeah.
And your mom did not die because of him.
No.
Okay.
She died because
that's
he's
still
in
sad,
jail. I
Yeah.
can't follow this. Somebody please write it down for me.
I'll explain it to you at a later time. The important thing is that we did a lot of good today, and we made a real change, and we freed a bunch of innocent people. And
because you're a fan, you all get to be on Razor and Blades next episode.
Sweet.
You're all wearing what do they call the like a skin?
yes,
like the VTuber thing, so you can't be recognized.
right.
But and your voices are modulated, but you're on their talk show because you get to talk about what you did and your experience and how you successfully to put a dent in the megacorps, which is not an easy task.
Stick
The planet.
Hack the planet.
Hack the planet.
Thank you so much for playing. I'm so glad that you caught on to my little inspiration and you played along. And I hope you had a good time. I hope I was able to really get the vibe and the feel of like what Cyberpunk, what the game is like, what it's about, the sort of powers that you can have, what you can do with them.
It was great.
Which was kind of the goal. So
Awesome.
Excellent game. Thank you for running.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sharene.
I'm glad you guys had.
Yep. All right, friends. Well, that is going to be it for this month for Seriously Let's Play. We will be coming back in 2 weeks with Crystal Mazer, who is going to be running Never Going Home. So definitely come back for that. And then on October 14th, we have the much beloved librarian NPC, Anthony. He is going to be bringing his game Ghast Bashers. This is going to be its first time on stream. So please come on back, check it out. And remember, as we always say, hey, seriously, let's play.